When you finish adding parts to your project and you want to create a proposal for your customer, you can do so in the Reports Manager. When you click into the Reports Manager, it'll open up the Boilerplate tab. Boilerplate is the contract language that shows up at the beginning and at the end of your report. And I'm going to show you how to edit that down here. But first I'm going to show you where the boilerplate shows up in your reports. So I'm going to click the Preliminary tab to open a preliminary proposal and click Print Preview. Now this is the preliminary proposal as it stands right now. And you can see right here where it says samples shown here are only examples. That's our first boilerplate heading. And the boilerplate goes down to the project specifications. This is the beginning of the project specs, which includes all of the parts that we've added, but above that, this is all boilerplate. This is our intro boilerplate. And then if you want to see the outro boilerplate, you can go to the end of the report. And here it is below the final project cost. Intro versus outro boilerplate is our first outro boilerplate heading down to this signature line. This is all the outro boilerplate. And you can edit that back in the boilerplate tab. So I'm going to click that. And now you can see we're in the intro boilerplate section. And we've got, this is the outro boilerplate. I'm going to click back into the intro. We've got 5 headings in the intro boilerplate section. So if you click the first one, it says samples shown here are only examples. This heading is just for purposes of learning the program. We don't actually need this in any of our reports. So if I don't want it to show up, I can uncheck these boxes. These boxes are in columns that stand for, the P is for preliminary, the F is for formal, S is for subcontractor, and these checkboxes determine which headings will show up in each report. So we don't need this one. I'm going to uncheck these boxes, and now this heading and this text will not show up in any of our reports. So I'll click the second heading, General Conditions. Again, this is sample text. I'm going to use this in ours just because we don't have much right now, so I'm going to just delete this sample text and click Save. And now we'll have this General Conditions will still show up along with all of this text. You'll probably want to edit this before you submit a proposal for your own use, but for now I'm just going to keep the sample language, and I'm going to keep this box checked for a preliminary report. Boilerplate definition, again, we're not going to need that in any reports. That's just for learning purposes, as well as intro versus outro boilerplate. And then finally, subcontractor agrees. You can see it's only checked off in the subcontractor report because it's only for the subcontractor. It's not necessary in our reports for customers, so I'll just leave it the way it is. And then if you want to add boilerplate language, you can do that down here. So I'm going to choose to insert a new boilerplate heading at the end of the list, so I'm just going to click Add, and you can see it comes up here. It says New Heading right now. Click on that, and then I can add whatever I want over here. So I'm just going to say heading materials, and let's see, I'll just say all materials shall be new and in compliance with all applicable laws and codes. And then I'll click Save, and now this will show up in the report as well after I click the box, so it shows up in the preliminary and the formal reports. And so now we've edited the intro boilerplate, and then you can also edit the outro boilerplate by clicking on the outro tab up here. And again, there's intro versus outro boilerplate. We don't need that. Acceptance of proposal, that's good language, so I'm just going to keep that in there. The following proposal is submitted by, again, I'll just keep that in there. And then the image gallery, this allows you to include any pictures that you've added to the parts in your project at the end of your report. I'm just going to leave it blank for now. I haven't added any pictures, so we don't need that. And then I'll show you what the preliminary report looks like now. Click Preliminary, Print Preview. And if this ever happens where it doesn't show up on the first page, just click this refresh button and it'll come back to the first page of the proposal. And you can see here now we have only these 2 headings in our preliminary proposal for boilerplate. The general conditions, which I edited, and then the materials, which I created. So now we've got much less in the way of boilerplate in the intro, and then at the end we've just got these remaining boilerplate headings. And so that is how you edit your boilerplate. And next I'll show you how to print off a proposal.